Good morning. I'm sure all of us are wide and awake after a very good breakfast. First of all, I'd like to thank ARC, the Asian Research Center, for giving me this opportunity to present a paper on Jainism once more. And I'm even thankful to Father Elias, uh, Chanarong sir, and Binod sir for his guidance, continuous guidance always, to come up with something new. This time I'm going to present a paper on Diksha, which is the initiation ceremony held for Jain monks. So when anybody is in the thought process of taking up initiation, that is a monastic order, this is the ceremony that is performed. I'll just give you a few glimpses of the ceremony through two videos, exactly what happens. It transpires within 3 to 4 days, but we'll be going through it in a fast forward motion in just within just 2 to 3 minutes. That's it. So there is a video attached to this presentation, and I'd really love if it can be played. Okay. So my paper is Mediatization of Jain Religion in 21st Century Digital Age, a critical appraisal of Jain Diksha ceremony. We all know how important religion is and how a key role it plays in the lives of every individual, especially in India. The rituals, the worship, and other religious activities form a prominent part in the daily life of an individual. Religion also organizes the social life, especially in the rural parts of the country. And when we are talking about Jains, we are a minority in the whole of the country. We are just a population of 4.5 million in a huge population of 1.2 billion plus in India. But we still have our presence being felt, and the media is catching up with it. So I'll just give you a few glimpses of the same. Yeah. So the present research paper analyzes 12 Diksha ceremonies, 12 online, 12 Diksha ceremonies, and I was physically a part of two of them, so I would share my experiences as well together with it. And they have been represented on various media platforms like television, online journalistic articles, video on YouTube, and social media. The notes have been attached together with the paper. We all are aware, as even Father Elias had mentioned it during his opening remarks about mediatization by Stig Howard. He describes mediatization in general as a process through which core elements of a social or cultural activity assume media form. This process starts out from two interrelated processes of social change in modern society. The first concerns how the media during the 21st century has developed into a more autonomous, independent institution in society. The second is the degree to which the media have become integrated in the workings of other institutions. Thus, mediatization is a theory that focuses on processes of social change and on the media as agents of social change. So it is no more just viewing the social change and giving us a neutral picture of what's happening in the society, but it's playing its own part politically as well and socially as well. However, the author is of the view that there's no fixed process of mediatization. You cannot confirm, conclude, predict that this is how long it would take and these would be the after effects of the same. No ways you can do that. Hence, the analysis presented here uses a concept of mediatization within a limited religio-cultural context of Diksha in Jainism in India. Howard argues that mediatization generally entails the transformation of three aspects of religion. While being a Jain, it is a questionable view accepting, and it was. When I was going through the videos, I was like, yeah, this can affect. But when I actually went to see these Diksha processes, then I realized that no, the effects are totally different. When you are there online, you might be feeling that, yeah, we are watching which is happening live. But when you're there on the grounds where the Diksha is happening, the atmosphere is totally different, let me tell you. So I totally agree with most of the people over here, especially Leslin, who told me that how can you say online baptism? Yes, online baptism is not a process which a core, a Christian would ever accept, but it is there. So the same way we have this online Diksha as well. It is not online Diksha, but the relay of the same is there on the media platforms. Yeah, so there are three aspects of religion which get transformed. This is what Howard argues. The first that he says that the media become the primary source of information about religious issues in society. This is the first one that he says is a transformation. And this challenges the authority of religious institutions to define and frame the meaning and significance of religion in society. Yes, to a huge amount, Christianity and Islam, I think so, as to my observations, they have been. Second, the media also produce religious content through molding religious symbols and beliefs according to their own purpose and narratives. So the symbols that we are using for our religion, that is, if I was speaking about Hinduism, we have the flag, the deity, the way that they appear, the puja that is being performed. There may be a bit of, you know, change according to, it may not follow the traditional way, because there the you have to come on the platform which is like people would stick to it and would want to view more of it. So there are a bit of transformations where they add in the entertainment value as well. Very bluntly speaking, entertainment value. The third, the media becomes social and cultural environments that take over many of the functions of institutionalized religions, such as providing moral and spiritual guidance and a sense of community. This is very limited what he says. Whereas in the next paper, I had a discussion with Dr. Padmarani, and she's going to talk about how the media will become the main source, or it is becoming the main source, of performing the rituals and all. So it is not just limited to moral and spiritual guidance, but even for experiencing the moral and spiritual things. So I think so she will be fulfilling the same. There is a small presentation, as I told you, in the form of video to talk about Diksha, as to how Diksha takes place, and I would want Dr. Ambika to help me with the video. We'll just go through the small video. Can you just mute this voice? We don't need the voice, we just need the visuals. The whole process of initiation first starts with the initiate deciding on the lineage of the monastic order under whom he would want to take this Diksha. Then a date is being finalized. The Diksha happens in two parts. One is the Vadi Diksha, and the other is what do you call it? The Bhagavati Diksha. The Bhagavati Diksha is the prior initiation, after which the initiate would be remaining with the monastic order for 6 months or more, depending on how he's able to cope with all the processes which are there for the mendicants. And once the guru, that's the leader of the group, decides that yes, he is fit enough to, then they go for the Vadi Diksha. Here, what's happening? The thing which you're seeing is a large congregation of not only the relatives of the initiate, but even the society at large present at one of the grounds, which is being decorated as a huge ship. It is something like a Bollywood set, you can say, wherein the initiate comes in. He is dressed up like an emperor, and he gets a permission from all his relatives, his family members to go ahead with the Diksha. Taking permission before the initiation ceremony is very essential in Jainism. A person cannot just decide and take the Diksha. So this is a process, exactly what is happening. And after this, once he get the permissions, he removes all this jewelry, the fineries and everything. He just gives it up. And he accepts the oga, which is a symbolic element in Jainism, from his guru. Then there would be a keshalocha. Keshalocha is the removal of hair. In the olden times, they used to remove each strand of hair from their body just by plucking it. But now they have got a few reformations done, wherein they shave off the head first and just leave a tuft full of hair to be removed during the initiation ceremony by the guru. Yeah, now we'll go over to part 2. After the hair has been removed and the person has come up in a monastic clothing, so you can see a complete change of his attire, his looks, everything has changed. He's the same person who was there with all his fineries, and now he's got nothing. And he's very happy being with his guru, because this is the day that he was looking out for. He doesn't want to be as a layman anymore. He wants to live this monastic life. And now he will be traveling all over the place on foot. These are the minimum elements that he will be carrying with him. Other than this, he can have no possession, no materialistic possession after this. So he seeks the blessings of all who are gathered there. This is a huge congregation which happened in 2015. Okay, let me give you some facts about this Diksha, this particular Diksha which happened in Ahmedabad. It happened in 2015. In his social life, he was called Shri Bhavarlal Doshi, and he was a very big businessman, and he had an empire of more than 15,000 crores in business. He is a native from Rajasthan, and he had decided to take up Dikshas after hearing the sermons of many of the monastic orders. But he was not getting his permission from his family to leave this the social life. But gradually he was able to convince his family, and they had decided to take or have this function organized on 31st May 2015. Before this Diksha, there were many Varsidan ceremonies. That's a chariot on which the initiate takes out a big procession, wherein he throws the worldly possessions, that is the materialistic things, wherein coins, wherein gold coins, silver coins, money, everything is like thrown away. I don't want this. These are the things that are not required. I'm not made up to have or relish this materialistic things. This is the exact meaning of doing a procession. So he had such 15 Varsidan ceremonies all over India. After that, he had a few felicitation ceremonies wherein the various societies or groups had called him up at their place, and they felicitated him for taking up this decision of going for a Diksha. And then there was a 3-day ceremony, which we just had a peek. It was a 3-day thing. The whole set was being created in the form of a ship, and it is said, and it has been reported in the media, that he spent around 1 billion rupees to get the whole set being made, just for the set. Other than this, he spent 100 million rupees for the various agencies who were hired to feed or to, for food, for security, for transportation and everything. There were like 1,000 monks who attended this ceremony. And normally in any of the Dikshas that happen, there is a minimum of like 15 to 20 monks who do attend these type of ceremonies. And there were guests who had come in not only from all over India, but even from abroad. And together with that, he had created webcasting facilities live webcasting facilities for the whole ceremony. And they had called in musicians and singers from the best of places to get all the ceremonies done in a proper way. And the atmosphere being created was out of the world. Let me tell you, you feel as if you are not on the world, but you are there in heaven. This is exactly the environment which was being created. And it was all live on Paras TV, which is a religious TV for Jainism as well. So this is exactly what happened. And other than this, I had even attended one of the Diksha ceremonies at a place called Sankeshwar. It is a pilgrimage, for a very sacred pilgrimage for the Jains. There we had three Dikshas happening all together. So Dikshas don't, that is the initiation ceremony, does not only happen for one person. It can be multiple people taking Dikshas at the same time. So there three Dikshathis were there, wherein they had there were two CA, that is chartered accountants, who had one of them had just completed his chartered accountancy. He was 24 years old, and after coming in contacts with the monastic order, he thought that this is not a life that he wants to lead anymore. He wants to go for the monk life. There was one 64 years old who was like, I have seen enough of this world, so now I really want to take up a path which leads me towards salvation, that is our moksha. And the other one was just 18 years old. And his parents were like all willing that their child should be there in this monastic order. Yeah. I was really surprised. I interviewed their parents for around half an hour or so. Just a day prior to the Diksha ceremony, I really wanted to meet them and just to know their emotions. What do they feel? Are they happy about it or not? And they were like, this is this is the aim of our life, and that's happening. We are very happy to see this thing happening. And together with this, as I told you, I'd gone through the videos and all online, and the reactions of people on Facebook. I've gone through the same. But the thing which I can say is, from the discussions that we had and from the observations that I had, um, we cannot say in a very thorough or very, this way that from a content analysis or from the representative representations of such portrayals, like on television, on online journalistic articles, on video on YouTube and social media, the way that Howard is say that mediatization can be done or is being done, especially in the Western countries, uh, it is not applicable to us. Especially in Jainism, it is not applicable to us, because these rituals have remained the same no matter how, whichever media, the platform they have used. But the rituals have remained the same, the ethos have remained the same, and even the presentations through symbols are the same. They have not compromised with any of these things. So the hypothesis is outrightly rejected, what Howard had said, and the content analysis, it can show some of the indications of how the media molds religion in accordance with its logic, and how, for example, media selection changes the direction and form of representation of religion in the digital media over time. But the content analysis cannot alone support the thesis of mediatization, because, as I see, it does not change the character of Jainism, uh, nor through time and not through space. Hence, the paper attempts to reject, or the paper has outrightly rejected this hypothesis of Howard. This is what I have. Thank you.
I was thinking if possible we take the second paper and then the questions should be together.
Thanks for inviting me, or to this meeting roundtable. This is the first time that I'm attending the ARC. Um, yes, I enjoyed it thoroughly. I made some new friends. Uh, My topic is a study on the usage of online media by selected Hindu temples in South India. I've taken this topic only that I could, analyze some of these things in detail. Initially, I had decided to analyze a lot of things in my abstract, but then, as usual, I found my abstract to be too ambitious. So I've cut down on only 4 temples in the south of India. Now, as the communication technology has been changing, so also some of our practices have been changing. And when printing press was invented, it was thought that the practices of religion would change, and it was considered as a big revolution. Now internet is considered as a similar kind of a revolution related to the printing press. And you find that when you look at the history of religion and internet, it can be traced to the 1980s. When people used religion enthusiasts began to explore ways by which internet can be used for religious purposes, and the first website was users net.religion as a discussion list. Christianity was the first religion to have used, various churches and denominations used internet basically to attract people towards these churches and denominations. But today we can't say all the religions I found have their presence on the internet. Now what they do with the internet, how they've been using the internet is very different if you look at it. Religious engagements through TV, radio, music, and internet generally complements the traditional communication methods, and or in fact even religious practices. Some of the theorists or some of the works that I found other than Heidi Campbell works on religion and internet is of Rosanne Hackett, who talks about that internet can be used for religion because of its multidimensionality, multifunctionality, and multidisciplinarity. The concept of proliferation to disseminate one's own religion, largely can be used through the internet. The other thing is that, internet also attracts young people to view these sites. Now, that is something that I need to find further to what I've done, because I need to find out who are the users. I haven't found out who are the users of these websites and things. Mark Williams, in one of his studies, talks about the important characteristics of, I'll just change first, virtual pilgrimage. This is a concept I would like to talk about. Virtual pilgrimage has 4 characteristics. One is it creates a mythscape, an immaterial mental geography that originally comes from sacred, oral, or scriptural traditions. Second, it exists as an interactive visual auditory medium for experiencing a sense of sacred presence. Third, it generates symbolic form of entertainment that are liminoid in character. And fourth, as a leisure activity of individuals. And one can net surf or access computers both from their homes and work. And it also creates a community of virtual traveling of pilgrimages who can discuss. Now, internet is not only used in the traditional forms of religion, but other purposes. Now, there are a lot of studies which has been conducted by Pew Internet Research Group in America. They've been conducting studies on internet and religion from 2000 to 2014, at regular intervals. And all these studies point to the fact that, yes, internet is used for religious purposes, but most of it is used by people who also follow the religion traditionally. So, the idea of that internet would attract more newer crowds into the fold may not hold good. Now, I would just quickly shift to this 4 websites that I've studied for my analysis. The first one, Tirupati Balaji. I think all across India, not only in South India, even though this temple is situated in the southern part of India in a state called Telangana now. But he is one of the richest gods. And in fact, today morning when I checked, the website has crossed 2 crores of visitors. 20 million visitors today morning when I checked, and they also talk about it. This is the page of Tirupati Balaji. When you open the page, you can see the photographs are scrolling, and there's a very nice classical background music to the whole thing. Now, the whole website, when you look at it, is bilingual. It is in English and Telugu, the regional language of that area. Certain things are also in Tamil, the other local, the other South Indian language, where pilgrimages from that state go here quite often. Now, what does this website actually contain? It talks about the history of the temple, how this god Balaji came into existence. It talks about the various temples, because it's not just one single temple, Sanctum Sanctorium. It's a group of temples which is in Tirupati, at Tiruchendur, at Tirumala, different locations, and it talks about all of those. It also gives you an idea. See, at the other side, there is a survey, feedback, and map. So they also want to know from people who are using this that, what is the feedback about it? What do they think the improvements? And over the time, when I first saw this website in August and started working, they've made some changes now. So that means they are taking this, feedback of the people very seriously. The other things that they have on this has e-darshan, e-seva. E-darshan is you can have a virtual, visit the god inside the Sanctum Sanctorium. You also have a e-seva. Seva is a form of a prayer or offering that can be given to God, and e-donations. And it also talks about the various social activities or the various charitable activities that this temple is carrying about. Now, I would like to emphasize one thing here is that they also give you the address, phone number, website address, email ID, everything of all the officials who are involved in the administration of the temple. The list is quite elaborate. They go on to give you even the person who can come and the plumber who can come and rectify something in your cottage if you're staying there. So all these kind of information, basically, I would like to say that the information is not only from religious point of view, that what you're going to do as a religion, but also to travel to this place, how would you travel, and your stay being made comfortable in that particular temple complex. Udupi is not opening right now. I'll explain Udupi after that. The second temple that I've studied is the Madurai Meenakshi temple. It is popularly known as, it has a very long Tamil name. Now, the name of the temple, Meenakshi and Sundareshwar, comes from the origin of this temple. The goddess here, Meenakshi, is supposed to have an eye in the shape of a fish. That is how this name comes from. And here again, this is another website where the number of visitors is given. And here also the visitors have crossed 2 lakhs today morning. It's almost 3 lakhs. It was 2,99,000. So it's almost crossed 3 lakhs. And again, here also you see the different parts of the temple. Now, yeah, sorry. Here also you see the different parts of the temple. They scroll across from the deity to the others. They also have about the history of the temple, why the temple originated, how the temple was built in this area. This temple is known for its architectural beauty. It has huge towers, and they've given you history about all those towers, that who constructed it, what constitutes on those towers, also about the different corridors in the temple. It even goes on to explain that from which side you should enter the temple, how should you go about in the temple, and then enter the main, sanctum sanctorium. So it gives a very detailed idea to a person. If you're not aware of the area, if you do not belong to that place, you can actually go to the website and get all the details of how to go around the temple to see it even as a tourist. It explains the different features on the corridors, about the pond that the temple has. It's a very large water tank it has. So even the significance of that tank is explained there. And obviously about ways of how to reach Madurai, because Madurai is a town in the southern part of Tamil Nadu, and how to reach there by both rail, road, air, and things. So all those details are also given. Here they do not have accommodation within the temple, but they tell you where would be the nearest place of different budgets that you can walk into the temple from there. So that way, it helps the pilgrimage know about a lot of activities. They also do a lot of charitable activities of having schools, orphanages, mass marriage for girls and things of that kind. So there's a facility by which devotees can donate for those facilities, and also offer your special prayers. And the schedule of the prayers for the whole day is mentioned on the first page. If you scroll down, you will get, and you can see that, which festival is coming down. See, the temple timings for today is, if you click on that, you will get the temple timings elaborately. So one can plan the visit to the temple accordingly. This is a Hindu temple in the southernmost tip of India. And this is one of the 4 pilgrimage sites which a Hindu is supposed to have visited compulsorily in his lifetime. And the other significance of this temple is that people have to visit Haridwar, get the Ganges water from there, and then, pour the Ganges water on the deity Shiva in Rameshwaram. This temple has a mythological significance because it was built after Ram killed Ravana, and when he returned with his wife to India. Now, if you look at the scrolls in this, here also the temples in Tamil Nadu have a special significance of the towers, the gopurams, and the gopurams are very prominently placed. This temple has 22 very huge corridors. So you will find that these corridors are the ones which are scrolling, through it. This website, even though it is maintained by the same people which the Meenakshi temple is being maintained, they do not list the number of visitors. But one special significance of this website is that it is multilingual. And when I'm saying multilingual, it's not only the Indian languages, but also the foreign languages. It's in German, French, Croatian. I don't know how many languages I found there. And all those are working. I checked yesterday also, all those language translations are working here. So any of you who is interested can go and, look at it. It's in different other languages, which I found a very unique feature of this website. And the other facilities like e-seva, e-donations, e-bookings, and it also has laid down the Rameshwaram website, they've laid down very clear guidelines on policies of reservation and cancellation. They say that you cannot reserve before 45 days and not after 3 days. So minimum of 3 days. And, all these features are the other features about the temple history, the procedure of the prayers and those things are also here. But in addition to that, they have this multilingual feature and about accommodation, the other facilities in the temple, They also have a facility by which you can get your prasad home. In fact, all these 3 temples have a provision by which you can get your prasad delivered to your home. And the last one Just try know if it's opening now, the Udupi one. You tried again? Yeah. Okay. See, the last website that I studied was about Udupi. Now, Udupi is known for a seat of the Dvaitya philosophy of the Madhavacharya sect. Madhavacharya is the Sri Krishna worship, and it's the seat from where the Dvaitya philosophy of Hinduism has evolved. This website is not run by any trust. It is run by the religious head of that temple. And Udupi has a system by which 2 years they have a term for a religious head, and then the seer changes. So, whoever comes to power is the one who becomes the admin of the website, and they administer it. Now, Udupi is also a multilingual website, but it does not talk about how to travel to Udupi, how do you get accommodation to stay in the temple and things of that kind. It only gives you the basic information about how the history of the temple, the history of Dvaitya philosophy, and also about the various prayers that happen in the temple. Now, basically, to conclude, I'm coming to the conclusion. Basically, to conclude, I would like to say that, all these websites, if you look at them, the design and content is also, you find that the older websites have developed over a period of time, and they are much more better than the ones which have been, developed very recently, like the Udupi website. They also have various features like streaming and things, and they've all been designed with the help of some technological company, and they're all copyrighted. At the end of their bottom, they all mention the technology company that they have used for designing it and the copyright in whose name it is. They all have information on the history of the temple, the schedule that is followed in the temple prayers, and also about the special occasions the temple provides. The information about how to reach the temple, how to go around the temple, the sequence in which the various deities have to be visited, the photographs and things. All of them also, basically use, what I feel is that they have used the website by the temples to educate the people about the temple and its history. Also, that, though there is a large presence of people who use English today on the internet in India, they've also tried to make it multilingual so that even people who do not know English but have some, are, semi-literate or literate in a vernacular language, can actually use the website. And it's mostly in the language that they belong to, except the Rameshwaram website is multilingual in other languages other than Indian languages. And I feel that due to the, migration of people from outside their place of origin, and some of these temples have a religious significance for Hindus all across the country, and that is why they've gone on to being multilingual. And it also enforces the idea of shared identity and multi-site reality. Thank you.
Net savvy kind of community, I think,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Yes, it is. It is.
Yeah, I think compared to its general population,
Because
majority of
literacy
them,
rate is very high.
every high, yeah,
Very high. Amongst all the minorities in India, the maximum
there.
literacy is there with Jains.
Exactly. And also computer literacy and net
Yes,
savvy,
yes. All
those
types of
things,
literacy, yeah.
gadgets, all those things are possible. Now, going online implies certain, what do you call, freedom in terms of, interpreting religion,
Yes.
isn't it?
For a non-Jaina, you can interpret the religion in the way that you have understood it and in the way that your upbringing has been.
That's right.
But for a Jaina, if we are practicing Jains and we are watching it online, we know what we are watching.
I know.
So we watch it in that context.
I know. What my point is, even for the Jaina, when it goes online, it is more interpretative than, say, offline. Offline can have a very restricted kind of a practice. That is actually the dynamics of being online.
Okay.
It lends itself because it is presented to more people. So, more perceptions, more understandings, you see. That is actually inherent dynamics of online, communication.
Yeah, that is
So, my question is, how does this community, which is minuscule, generally minuscule communities will tend to conserve so that they can have their identity very clear, sharp. But this dynamics of internet will actually make them to interpret and be open.
Yeah.
How does the community experience this tension? That's my question.
This is a discussion even I had with the mendicant when I was doing this paper. And he was totally against it, let me tell you. he, he never accepted that we should go online because the perceptions are changing.
Oh, I see.
It's very true. And we thoroughly believe, and especially the Svetambara sect, which is the Murti Pujak sect, which believes in the deity and which believes in a mandir. The sect profoundly says that we should not give anything to a person who has no knowledge about what they are getting. We should not. Only once the person is ready to understand or has got some background about Jainism, should be given. So many of the websites, if you go through it, we don't have so much of detailing. We don't. And even when we are on the social media sites, that is the Facebooks and all, other than the salutations, you will never find the discussions which are happening in Islam and in Christianity.
Okay.
You will never. I have been observing it for the past 5 years, and it has never come across me.
Okay, okay. There's a question from.
What made you take the mediatization
Yes.
paradigm or something like that?
Yeah.
Why?
All because I observed that a majority of the people from our sect, which is Svetambara, they all have been using this online medium. They have increased this usage of online medium because of the smartphones, and I really wanted to see as to how this is changing the portrayal of the religion. Is it or is it not? And once I was reading through all the materials available online, so I, I really found this very interesting concept of mediatization. And so I wanted to compare it with what's happening in our religion, and is it really true? Does it stand true for our religion or not?
See, the definition of mediatization by Harvard, I think, is a little bit restricted. So I looked when I wrote also my paper here, I looked further, and in the International Encyclopedia of Communication, Volume 7, there are 10 pages on mediatization, and they define mediatization, the influence of media or communication media organizations on the cultural transformation of modern societies.
Exactly.
So is that what you want to show and what you want to prove?
What I wanted to.
So that would, then you should also go beyond Harvard, Then
Yes,
Harvard is
it did go for the criticisms as well.
Yeah.
That was by Lund as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. And after that, he did come up with 3 aspects of mediatization. Howard himself, when he was countering these criticisms. And still, I did find that he was not able to stay on those 3 as well.
Yeah, because he says when he talks about mediatization in the word, I have my reservations with the word already. It's media,
Yeah.
So we are not talking about media really. They say in their definition,
yes, there's a difference
in media
between
communication media organization on cultural transformation.
Exactly.
So it is broader. I personally feel the word mediatization is more referred to mass media and technology.
No.
Yeah, but the original, that's the first impression. Probably one has to clarify this also in your paper, what it means. So probably you have to go beyond Harvard.
Yes, I did take 2 of the other references as well, and I did give a difference between mediatization and mediation.
That's a different thing. Yeah. Even they, for example, in this international, I think they define it as influence of media and communication media organizations. So communication media organizations is different a little bit, you know.
Totally different.
Yeah. So that is something that probably has to be explained a little bit more in your presentation, no?
Yeah, my presentation was not covering the whole thing, but my paper does,
Yeah.
and I have included all the 5 points that he had said.
Yeah.
That the media transforms the arenas for religion in modern society. The media transforms the religious content and comes up with a banal religion.
Yeah, that's it. Banal religion
Banal
is rich,
religion.
but is that
Exactly.
true? Is that true?
It's not true with our religion.
it.
This is what I found. It's not
Yes.
true at all.
I'm very unhappy about this banal. It's not really banal.
Same here. Even I'm not happy.
This is why I put it here, the banal and popular, you know.
Okay.
Popular is a little bit different, you know.
So this is how you renamed it.
Yeah, I renamed it popular.
Yeah, and the other one that he was talking about the main social and the cultural environments for providing the moral and spiritual thing. I don't agree at all, because spiritually, the face-to-face communication is much more better, and you get to experience it. Then
Yeah, and where's the media? That is the point. There is no mediatization there in a sense. When you use the word media,
Media.
no? We have to find another word for that, I think.
Yeah, we can-
Transmission or
And there was one more thing I realized, that content analysis would not be enough.
no.
We need to have the impacts of on the receivers as well. We need to get their experiences.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to work on it
I
more.
think we have to work more on that,
We
you see,
need to.
because I feel
Analysis is
Let- let-
intermediary stage. That's not the final results.
no. I mean, we have to work on that a little bit,
We
just
need
to
to.
get away from the media. So we might call it another word for that, you know, something
should,
like that.
we should.
Yeah.
I'm sure you'll come up with something new.
I don't know, but I mean, I feel uneasy about it, you know. But on the other hand, it's basically only him who wrote about these things, you know. There's
Yeah.
not much literature on that, and it comes from Scandinavia, so they have a special situation there anyway,
Yeah.
you know.
He's just worked on the Norwegian
Yeah,
areas. Yeah.
yeah. So just to encourage you to go deeper,
Go
and,
deeper into it.
and reflect a little bit more and
Sure, I will.
something like that.
This was an important, this is a very important ceremony
Yeah,
on our
that's-
part.
See, this is the point. For example, when you take a religious ceremony, is this mediatization?
It is in a bit. Why?
To
why
some
have-
extent.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, but
Because the media has been representing
you-
the ceremony in a way as if a Bollywood film has been made out of
see,
it.
you have to say what you understand by media. See, if you take means, it's a different thing. And so means is different thing than media.
In media,
When you use the word media, technology is in the back of your mind.
yeah.
It means, no, means
No.
can be dance, it can be tradition. For example, the ceremony you showed, there is no media in it. There's means of communication.
there's
They
means of-
communicate, but it is not media, mediatization in the strict sense, the way I see it.
No, but the means have been put up on a platform
Yeah, the
for the
mean-
others to.
Yeah, but okay, for that, if you talk about the transmission, then how to transmit it by television, something that's a different thing. But in religion and in this ceremony, you showed, it's the ceremony as such.
Yeah.
It's only transmitted.
It's only
It's
transmitted.
not more than that.
No.
So the media quotation mark don't play a role directly.
They don't.
No, that's it.
No.
That's any transmission of religious ceremony. It's a ceremony
Mm-hmm.
and not the means. See, there are many different means to translate
Exactly.
something like this.
Jainism doesn't go anything above that. They
Yeah.
just go for the
Yeah,
transmission.
no, but I mean, you're not a Jain, you're also a scholar. So,
Scholars.
so you better
the-
go-
I'm sorry if I've been a
Scholar.
bit, touchy about it, but yes.
To trigger you, I want to trigger you. Huh?
Ceremony that we are not looking at it. There is some other hidden part that you have not brought out. It is
No, no,
not
I
the
mean-
media, it is not the mediation, it is not the transmission alone. What transformation takes place by doing so,
Yeah.
which was not done before?
Okay, but I mean, in the contribution like hers, just one thing, you cannot expect everything. It's not a doctoral thesis yet, you know. So when your doctoral thesis is about that, then we have more criticisms on it. Okay.
Should we move to the other
Yes,
paper?
yes, yes. See, she is eagerly waiting already.
Yeah.
it changes the experience of space, sacred space within the Hindu community, when it goes online. But space for them is a very important factor. Recently, we had a conference where a Hindu Guruji had come for inaugurating the conference. And the officials of the university were not allowed to sit near him. So officials were actually a little hurt. What do you call us like that, It's because space was kept empty, not to go near him. And I think this has something to do with the way Hindu community experiences sacred space. There is, exclusion and inclusion. How does that work in going online?
See, what you talked about exclusion and inclusion, is very, they don't even have to think of that online because everybody can view it, but nobody is touching the deity.
That's right. So
And
therefore, is it finally managing the problem or kind of circumventing the problem?
it's about circumventing the problem.
Oh, I see. So which means the real issue is not tackled.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, because see, the Hindu religion is all based on the notion of purity and pollution.
Exactly.
And it's because the deity would get polluted
That's
if
right.
everybody else touches it, is why the deity is kept
Yes.
enclosed where nobody, other than the priest who performs it, nobody even gets to enter that area. Especially in the South Indian temples. This is very different in the North Indian temples or in the Eastern temples. Like here in Orissa and things, we can touch the deity. You go to Calcutta, you can touch Kali. But whereas in the South Indian temples, no. We are not even allowed to enter. Even in Tirupati, even you pay the highest VIP darshan, you are not allowed to touch the deity. So, that way, you're just circumventing that issue. You're not even touching it. You want to have a virtual darshan, have it. Those issues are not even touched upon.
First of all, good morning to all of you. Secondly, thank you for this opportunity. Thirdly, first time I meet few faces. One is Dr. Batma. I never knew I have been following her quietly. Some of the things that I am doing is logical sequence of her presentation. It is in a different perspectives. She has taken 4 states in southern India, at least 3 states. I have taken one particular district in Tamil Nadu, where there is one Hindu temple and a Catholic center and an Islamic center. These 3 I have taken into my study. Now, here I will be talking more about the role and impact of digital technology used in the religious experience of pilgrimage in South India. So, pilgrimage is there, role, impact of digital technology is there, and the religious experience. So you will have little bit of everything, and we will clarify. An investigation for your kind information. It is not a critical study, not any other thing. It's an investigation, just to start with. Some years ago, they said if you are not in television, you are not there. Then they said if you are not in web, you are not there. Now they say if you are not in app, you are not there. So it is all going in some directions. Rationale of the investigation. I wrote a paper. The topic that you find in the paper in your program schedule was the original one that I thought of, and I wrote the paper in that line of thinking. And for the ILS suggested, why don't you do on this line of thinking? That's how I went into this. So that is more conceptual. This is more kind of analytical and statistical. Internet penetration in India from an official statistical count is about 36% in the global scenario. So we can talk about anything. It's only 36% the latest internet, whereas most of the people have got cell phone. But internet penetration is only 36%. There is a difference in these two. So in terms of years, you will see how it goes. The future is in the internet, we know. The future is in digitality, digital system, new reality, new discourses, big data is being created, big data and organizational management. This is going to be the future talks hereafter. the tunnel vision we have in our own topic, tunnel vision, the future coming soon. Somebody saying the future is coming soon, the power, all kinds of smart cities. Now the objectives of this study, I have three simple objectives. To observe the utilization of digital technology for pilgrimage purpose in South India. Just one simple aspect. To find out the gap or the missing element of technology use from a modern communication point of view. Third, to propose ways and means to bridge the gap for a better interactive and intercultural exchange. This may you live interesting times is a go of the day. So my theoretical standpoint, you can have a number of theories, but for a paper of this sort, at least some takeoff points should be there. So I am taking multiple paradigm by Jean Servais, 2008 Servais. A beautiful presentation of this. He comes up with the psychoanalysis, psychology, anthropology, so many approaches he gives. And the first day, the opening talk of Dr. Patnaik, the senior, he was mentioning the diversity is the beauty. Dharma means the diversity is the beauty. Multiplicity goes with that paradigm. The second one is a globalization theory. It is critical about the religiosity, religious approaches. It has its own positive, negative aspects, but globalization theory, most of us are aware. So methodology, what did I do? How did I go about in this study? I have three. Observation, where our friends talked about ethnography and ethnography. And ethnography is the one that I use, observation and focus group discussion. That's a group of young people from my place. Most of them are professionals, IT professionals. And this is the one, digital media use in questionnaire. I had put it in the Google form. So it went all over. Anyone can take it. So there is three ways I did observation and FGD that many of us are aware, and questionnaire. One is offline, another one is online. So we have been talking about all this. Offline study and online study. Now people gather in the name of some things. People gather in the name of religiosity, or God, religious leader, in the name of festival, big number in India, in any part of the world for that matter. People gather for sports and shopping. It's a big number. People gather for politics and ideology. People gather for art and music. This is going on. Now, pilgrimage. Pilgrimage, various reasons for people visiting these religious centers. The South India, Tanjavur is a place where I live now. That one particular civil district, Tamil Nadu state had earlier about 20 districts. At that time, this was one district. Now it has been bifurcated into 3 civil districts. Now we have 30 civil districts. So those 3 areas will come in this. Now pilgrimage for that matter. Madam Batma also spoke, and some of our papers, somewhere it comes every now and then. Of course, there are various ways of looking at it. In these places, people go there for personal vow. It has got some pastoral value. It has got some spiritual environment. Gratitude, showing our gratitude to the deity, expression, thanksgiving. And there are people go as a tourist there, simple tourists in these places. So pilgrimage. Now pilgrimage, I am talking about, if you take a walk, Tanjavur to Velankani, if you see this place, this Nagur, these 3 are 3 centers. You can go from here to Orissa, the coastal. Yesterday night we were in the beach. We could have taken a walk down, probably we would be reaching somewhere. So it is up north is Orissa, up down south is this place. And these are 3 centers. Tanjavur to Velankani, Nagur is 300 kilometers distance. And the purpose of digital technology in this study, digital media, digital technology, mostly people use for information seeking, religious connectivity, online updates, spiritual environment, socialization. Mostly social media uses for socialization. And online updates are there definitely. Spiritual environment is there. Information seeking. We were talking about hits, all information seeking. Digital technology has convergence and divergence. How cell phones, social networks, and the web have influenced religion across traditions over the past decade. I pray there is one Bible gateway, Quran app, Bhagavad Gita, temples India. All these are sites we find. Physical world, real space, and virtual world, cyberspace. Now, again, we come to the digitization, automation. These are terms that we use. Convergence and divergence. Convergence and divergence. Railway track is a typical example. Diverge and converge. Divergent thinking, convergent thinking. So synthetic mind, analytical mind. All that we all know about it. Now I'm going to a particular place, Tanjavur. This is a place where I am. Yesterday we visited a temple which is old 800 years. This is 1000 years. Exactly 1004 years. So this is one of the biggest temples. The beauty of this temple, it's called big temple, the name itself. They have built in such a way the shadow of the temple will never touch the ground. It will only always fall within the body of the structure, because that should not touch the ground. It's something unique, that temple. I have visited because I am from that place. Brahadishwara temple, popularly known as Tanjavur Periya Kovil, is the largest temple in India, is one of the greatest temples with an outstanding architecture in the country. The 1002-year-old temple dedicated to the major Hindu deity Lord Shiva was built in 1010 AD by the Chola Emperor Rajaraja Chola. This was an old picture. People visiting. You see devotees coming to perform. Our Pope's ambassador visited. A lot of people go there. Pope's ambassador visited with the local bishop. This is a pilgrimage. This is an annual festival, Pragadishwara temple. Now we will go to Nagur Dargah, is Islamic center. This is 100 kilometers from there. It was one civil district, now separate civil district. Now Dargah, this is Nagur Dargah, also called Nagur Dargah or Hazrat Syed Shahul Hamid Dargah, is a dargah built over the tomb of the Sufi saint Hazrat Nagor Shahul Hamid, 1490-1579. It is located in Nagor, a coastal town in the South Indian state of Tamil Nadu. They have celebration. The same thing is there. You will see the other side of the Nagor festival. Big crowds go, all kinds of people gather. Now we go to Shrine Basilica of Our Lady of Health, Velankani. This is one of the beautiful Catholic church down south where I belong to. I have also served officially for 3 years, 4 years in this place. Though no historical records exist according to an age-old and strong tradition, Our Lady appeared to two poor boys besides saving the Portuguese sailors from shipwreck in Velankani, and this led to the origin of Marian Shrine at Velankani centuries back. A lot of stories. Okay. Now this is a festival. Now you have seen 3 places, 3 sites, 3 temples. Now I take you to the findings and discussion. The Hindu big temple is not having official website. Madam showed the websites. They have the official site. This temple, they don't have. There are 5 groups of people owning it. So they don't have. But what do they have? But there are third-party sites, websites using the commercial benefits. That is the beauty of it. The Muslim Nagur Dargah is also not having official website. They don't have. But there are few third-party websites they too have. Now, Christian Marian Center is having an official website. They have. And there are also many third-party websites promoting business. It's all in business. Now, data analysis, quantitative analysis. Quantitative analysis, are you aware of the use of digital media for pilgrimage? We simply sent to, I have not taken the age as variable, religion as a variable, so don't question on me on that particular. Simply it was sent and then we got some feedback. Are you aware of the use of digital media for pilgrimage, religious purpose? Offline, online. Offline questionnaire were given, about 150, here 190. 10 of them said no, so they are out. So they can't be taken into, but they will come in the calculation. Sorry. How have you used digital media for pilgrimage? Yes, no. How often do you use digital media for pilgrimage purpose? Offline, very often. Online, very often. regular, often, rare. Nowadays, it is both are kind of coming to the offline, online. Now, quantitative analysis, was your purpose fulfilled? Offline, online? Yes, no? Data analysis, quantitative analysis, rate your satisfaction level. Highly satisfied, satisfied, neutral, dissatisfied, highly satisfied. So you can see offline, online. Now, what are the latest digital technology you have used? Websites, mobile apps, YouTube channels, live broadcasts, offline, online. More or less same. So the roles of digital technology according to this study from the discussions. Innovation to connect technology, data sciences, devices, design, business strategy, telematic, robotics, drones, growth and development, connecting the physical world to the digital world, actual world to the digital world, social media, public private cloud, big data, advanced analytics. This is the role of digital technology. Now, limitation and challenges. Organization structure is a big limitation and challenge. Economic investments, human and internal skills, management style, new roles and responsibility for companies, digital leadership. Then we have qualitative analysis. So far we have seen the quantitative analysis. Now qualitative analysis, objectives, participant observation, focus group discussion, and survey. Now objectives, methods, first question, usage and purpose, participant observation. Let me go to focus group discussion, commercial and user oriented, socialization, limited use for religious purpose. Many are aware, survey, many are aware of the digital media for the religious purpose through various means on a regular basis, democratic, anonymous. Gap, what is a gap? Lack of awareness and proximity, limited usage, focus group, hybrid, lack of insights, lack of engagement, lack of current updates, survey, lack of connectivity, lack of understanding, no monitoring, no regular updates. So strategy, what are the strategies that we can use? Participant observation, religious app, cultural apps, community apps, aspiration, inspirational, that will help. Focus group, better quality leads, creative campaigns, friendly apps, community website, survey, they also say the same thing, awareness, upgradation. Strategies and recommendations, I will be concluding in about a couple of minutes. Understanding media, professional approach, communication studies and research, communication competence, awareness. This is the concluding remarks. Strategies and recommendations. Professional approach number one is wanted and called for while sharing information, learning lessons, building communities, and enabling collaborations of communication initiatives, educational endeavors, and developmental plans and projects. A clear-cut policy will ensure the use of digital technology towards beneficial networks, which measure across devices, channels, offline. That is number one. Understanding media. In terms of theoretical underpinnings, calling the three, be there in the moment, be there in the moment. Social media becomes instructional and a virtual reality. Community media covers the cultural traits and up-to-date machine learning. Finally, personal media ranging from tradition to modernity envisages an all-encompassing time, talent, and technical management. Communication studies and research must include specializing on brand authenticity, public relations, crisis management, automatic loyalty, content message analytics, entertaining more or less, large data but little change demand for freewheeling, distracted disruption and anti-consumerism. Communication must be for change and development to ensure awareness of the trends such as Gen Z, the power of emotions, data-driven communication, rich media content, being in touch through live video with a target audience, and virtual reality for a new storytelling. Communication competence must be given importance at all levels, taking into consideration of the multiple intelligence. We have been talking about it. I'm finishing, thank you. Communication, innovation, ethics, and disposition. I have already shown by Dr. Binod that I conclude. Thank you, bye.
It's not my video. Mr. Jha is here from the Indira Gandhi National Center for the Arts, and he has a video on the Gita Govinda. which is one of the traditions which is kind of contested in the sense that the people from Odisha call it theirs and people from Bengal call it theirs. Um, so the so uh, it is uh, a video that he will present and probably say a few words based on this video.
At IGNCA. Hello. Hello.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
The multimedia projects which we are making it at IGNCA to integrate the different art forms must be shown here in this audience. I also feel, being the student of the computer science, that the digital media cannot replace through the virtual simulation the spiritual part of the religion. However, the content part and the processes and the ritual practices can be simulated in such a way that it can be very close to the actual environment of the subject. And with that, we have tried to the different components of the Indian arts we have taken on the architecture. We have taken Bhubaneswar. Dr. Sebastian has shown that beautiful temple where we have tried to integrate not only the architecture part but also the inscriptions which is there in the temple, the murals which is there from the Chola, Maratha and the Nayak periods, the rituals which is there in the temple, the processions, the Kumbhabhishekam which happens every 12 years, the daily ritual, and the annual festivals. Similarly, on the literature part, we have identified the Geet Govind, that the text which was written in the Odisha in the 12th century has been the part of almost all artistic traditions in India. And the text which is very small, on only 24 Ashtapadis, if you print it in A4 size paper, it will be hardly 10 pages, even less than that. But its impression in last 800 years, every school of painting, every school of music, every school of dance has followed that in the classical form. If you go into the folk, it's every villages in India, I think that has been used as a part of that. So I'll just try to give you, in this presentation, we have made it at the 3 different levels on the Geet Govind. The first level is the introduction, where we have tried to establish what is the Geet Govind and how it has spread over the different parts of the India. At the second level, we have tried to explore the particular Ashtapadi into the different paintings, musics, and dance school. And at the third level, it is the interpretation of the text by the scholars, how the text has been rendered into the text, and in the Indian legacy of the content and knowledge systems, how it has been explored to the current level of the society. So I'll just start with the introduction. I will give you a little glimpse of that because we have approximately 17 hours of the audiovisual presentation into this. So just to start it.
But it has a very thin story. In fact, it is about 2 people, nothing more and nothing less. Just these 2 people and one other character, the Sakhi. And what is the story? The poet begins by describing these overcast skies, clouds, the dark trees called the Tamal. And then comes this enigmatic first verse of this poem, that on this night he said, who said, take Krishna home. And the fearful, the childlike Krishna was being taken home. Jayadeva Kavi Prabandham. Jayadeva, wandering king of bards, who sings at Padmavati's lotus feet, was possessed in his heart by rhythms of the goddess of speech, and he made this lyrical poem from tales of the passionate play when Krishna loved Shri.
The Geet Govinda consists of 12 parts.
Samam Saki Viragi Janasya Durante. From the 15th century onwards, there is a host of evidence of written manuscripts, of illustrated manuscripts, of inscriptions, which tells us that the Gita Govind was being written, sung, commented upon, danced, dramatized. Then, from the 15th, 16th to the 17th centuries, we find as if it has permeated just about every region of India.
Odissi again. Similarly, when it comes to the dance school, I'll show the structure because we have exactly followed the same structure for all the Ashtapadis. And we had also tried to integrate the explanation of the same performance so that one can understand it easily.
Radha comes looking for Krishna through creepers. She hears him. She sees him sitting under a tree. Krishna playing his flute, and Radha holding the branch of a tree. Shyly she walks
I'll
towards
just
him.
take you to the another level now because it's all engrossing explanations. At this level, we have tried to analysis of the text with reference to the Indian context.
If you want to study Geet Govind, you must place Srimad Bhagavat in the background. Right. Because it is by juxtaposing Srimad Bhagavat with Geet Govind, we can understand the real meaning of Geet Govinda. I call it an initiation of a Radha epoch in literature as against an initiation of Sri Krishna epoch in Srimad Bhagavat.
Sir, the various
Srimad
small
Bhagavat is
clippings we have put
What
it
is
here.
Leela?
Leela is a compulsion on the part of the highest reality, highest being. He is under compulsion to prove himself, to establish himself, and to establish himself in man. Not for man alone, not for man's devotion to him, but for his own meaningfulness. So Leela is his meaningfulness, and it is through Leela that he enacts the first.
There are approximately 17 hours of the audio-visual documentation in this presentation. It's not possible to show. I had just given you a glimpse. The idea is that through this digital medium, it is not possible to virtually simulate the spiritual part, spiritual affiliations, but it is possible to simulate the environment as close as possible to it, and those who are in practice of these traditions, they can feel that they are in the spiritual world. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Jha. Um, um, I we would have really loved to see the whole of it, but as you said, it is 17 hours of it. So, but if we can get access to that, at least I would like to take a look at this more closely. Now, I would like to invite in the opening session. We had. Our Vice Chancellor was supposed to have been there, and since he was unwell, he could not come, but he is here now. So I would like to request him to say a few words.
Distinguished delegates, dear friends, I should have welcomed you on the first day, but my colleagues did that job. I hope that last few days when you have been here, probably enough care would have been provided to you, which would not have been much inconvenience for you. And to start with at the beginning, my apologies that if there would have been any inconvenience, actually that was not intended. We all wished for providing the best possible facility and opportunities. But if something is lacking, certainly we'll make it up next time, and we wish that you will remain our good friends. Yeah. As you know, this the name of the university, Centurion University of Technology and Management. I will not go to Centurion, you all know, but I will use these two words, technology and management. That has been very key to most of the people who are here. So some of these people will be thinking, not you, internally, what all these bunch of people are doing here. So where is technology, where is management? But probably they might be thinking that digital part might be something technology, it might be useful to us. But what I would believe, and some of our senior management at least, we all believe, and we are trying to percolate all through the organization, that technology and management, we believe, is the body or the physical part. The soul is religion, culture, social science. And I am grateful to Professor Chandravanu that he has taken the lead through this Institute of Knowledge Society. We want to make it a very big school at least, where the deeper aspects of social science, which is really is the need of the hour in our society, that will be included in all our curriculum. In fact, few days ago we completed a international gerontology conference, because we find that people in the old days, both in rural area and urban area, they are living a undignified life. Even if they have money, they are not given dignity. And this lack of dignity, I believe, it is because the spirituality, the religion, the part which they were playing few years ago, that part somehow it is not being played. So how to include all those things in our mainstream curriculum? That is a challenge, and I will request each of you to help us to include it in the curriculum. We are all very serious in that. We will provide certain credit hours, because today in new liberal economy, as you know, that unless we give some credit, nobody is going to take it seriously. So if we are having something like 180 credit load for an engineer, for a BTech student, at least 10% of that we want to include spirituality, religion, and how they should be socially responsible citizen, a world citizen. That is what we want to bring in. Respecting diversity, respecting different culture, accepting it, not tolerating to that level that they need to go. So it's a great challenge, and I would request your support for it. So I will not take more of your time. Today, as I understand, you will be leaving immediately after this lunch hour. Thank you very much, and we are grateful that you all came to this place, and we look forward your continuous visit and association with our university. Thank you very much.
During this conference, I think I should not make more words. And there is no culture without religion. There is no decent human society without religion, regardless how you name the religions. There is a dimension there, and there is in all everybody who is in teaching and in research should be aware of that. And we have to instill in our scholars, in our students, a basic foundation from where these things, the whole life and also technology, come from. I always tell my students, they're fed up already, I guess, with it. I said, what we need, proper dispositions. So it's not skills, dispositions. You can learn many skills. If there's no proper disposition, forget it. And that is exactly, we appreciate very much your initiative, and we are very happy about that, and we are very grateful also for inviting us here. Chandra is one of our old, not physically, but long-time friends, you know, and he is actually the one to animate us and invite us here. We are very grateful for that, and excellently, we experience excellent organization. Everything is provided, including a wheelchair for the old man. Talking to you now. So once again, thank you very much indeed.
I just want to add to Father Eilers. On behalf of all of us, I believe that I can speak for all of us that we really appreciate the organizing of Centurion University for this 9th International Roundtable. Thank you for the generous support and sponsor of this meeting. St. John's University normally ex officio automatically host the roundtable, the annual roundtable, but every now and then there are universities like Centurion that offer to host us. As a kind of organizer, I fully understand how much details that you have to go into. The staff, the logistic, so many details. And I think we believe that this time, the 9th International Roundtable at Centurion University, perhaps one of the best, as Father Eilers just said. Centurion University has raised up a higher standard bar, meaning to say that in the future, whoever hosts this international roundtable will learn from Centurion how to provide all these facilities and logistics in order for us to to be able to enrich ourselves through the presentation and discussion. And for this, we would like to present a small token of appreciation to Centurion University, please. It says that Asian Research Center for Religion and Social Communication, St. John's University, Bangkok, Thailand, present this plaque of appreciation to Centurion University for generously sponsoring and supporting the 9th International Roundtable during the 3rd and the 5th February 2017, given at Bhubaneswar on the 5th of February 2017. Reverend Dr. Franz Joseph Eilers, SVD, ARC Executive Director, and yours truly as Chancellor of St. John's University.
So kind of you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And a small token for Chandra, who I believe together with Vipa spent sleepless night for several weeks.
Believe me, no.